Go ahead and get started. It's 11 o'clock. This is the December 2nd meeting of the City of Chattanooga Industrial Development Board. This meeting is hereby called to order. I want to note for the record it was duly advertised, and we have a full board? Full board. Wow. Thank you, members, for being here, being on time. Board members, in your packet, you should have the minutes of our November 4th meeting, which I unfortunately had to miss. Thank you, Althea, for chairing in my absence. I'll give you all a minute to review those, and if there are any questions or comments, I'd be happy to hear them.
Move to approve.
Move to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Minutes are approved. At this time, I'll be happy to recognize any persons from the audience wishing to address this board on any topic. And if there are none, we will move to our first resolution, item 5A, the E2I2 project, resolution authorizing the Industrial Development Board Chair or Vice Chair to enter into an agreement for grant administration services with the Southeast Tennessee Development District and substantially the form attached for technical assistance on Davis-Bacon labor compliance for the E2I2 project at a cost not to exceed $75,000. Do I have anyone who's wanting to comment on this or give us any context? Mr. Payne, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Hayes, Chair, members of the board. I don't see one of our consultants or anybody from wastewater here, but I am familiar with the E2I2 project and contracts like this where Southeast Tennessee Development District supports the city in the technical administration of these federal and state grants is something that we've done because they have that capacity to be able to add that, and so it's my understanding that that's what this is specifically related to everything about E2I2 as it goes into its next phase, and those Davis-Bacon wage rates have to be applied because of the federal dollars. So
okay, pretty straightforward. Any questions about this from the board?
Mr. Payne, it seems odd to me that this wasn't covered at the front end of the contract. I mean, when these awards go out, it seems to me it would be the contractor's obligation to know this is a Davis-Bacon contract.
It's not that the contractor didn't know, because it is included in the contractors. This has to do with documentation and tracking of that for submission for reimbursements of the federal dollars, and so this is oversight to make sure that the contractor has done everything that they're required to do. So the contractor does perform all of the work. They pay the Davis-Bacon wage rates. They provide the certified payrolls and other documents that are required by the grants. And this is an administrative oversight that Southeast Tennessee Development District is specifically geared to and provides that assistance to the city for a lot of that, simply because it's a very specialized thing, and so it actually gets used regularly on a lot of these grants, whether it's state revolving loans or in the case of these. In this case, I think there's both the state revolving loans plus a separate federal loan and grant for this.
So the $75,000 not going to the contractor.
No, this is $75,000 to, specifically you paid to Southeast Tennessee Development District for those oversight purposes, which is something that the city would have to provide, but but we would have to take existing staff away from other things and make sure that they're trained, and it's easier and better for the city to have somebody who's does this all the time and that they're already fully trained on this. So this is really just a matter of utilizing the best resources as opposed to having to take existing staff away from other duties.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Sorry, it's a few minutes late.
That's okay.
Thank you, Mr. Rogers. Any other questions on this one? I'll be happy to hear a motion to approve, if there's one.
Make a motion, we approve.
Is there a second? We have a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. We have two items under workforce development. The first one, 6A, I will need to recuse myself due to a contractual conflict of issue with the Chattanooga Chamber Foundation. So when the time comes, Madam Vice Chair, I'll have you gavel that one. I will read it for the record. 6A, resolution authorizing the Industrial Development Board to donate $50,000 from funds appropriated from the City of Chattanooga for the purpose of advancing workforce development in the technology sector to to the Chattanooga Chamber Foundation for a Workforce Development Tech Accelerator Program, noting this was tabled from our last meeting on November the 4th. Ms. Allen?
Good morning, Chair, members. Sharita Allen, Senior Advisor for Economic and Workforce Development here at the city. We are implementing a new staff report form as a result of feedback from the last meeting. And so that form will be included in your packets moving forward. So every resolution item that is economic or workforce development related, but not necessarily small business, will have this cover sheet with it. And it basically will have a recommended action. It will reference the resolution. It will reference the state of Tennessee statute that authorizes the IDB to implement this form or this resolution. It will talk about alignment with economic development plans. It will have a summary of needs section, a background in history, and then the fiscal impact. And so on this particular one, the resolution that the chair referred to earlier for this $50,000 donation of funds is authorized through the state of Tennessee statute. It's chapter 53, part 3, section 302. That is referenced. And that allows the board to use funds that are within its accounts for workforce development. This particular item is funded, and I'll get on the background history, is funded through an appropriation that came from the city. This aligns with economic development plans, with the One Chattanooga plan, with the goal of building a regional economy on 2 priorities. 1, growing household income for all Chattanoogans through workforce development and skills training. And 2, refining Chattanooga's competitive advantages and trade clusters versus rival cities. This resolution aligns with the Chattanooga Chamber's Chattanooga Climb strategic plan, which was funded by both the city and the county on 3 different priorities. 1, developing skills for the new economy. 2, growing stronger businesses. And 3, increasing regional prosperity for all. Under the summary of need, approval of this item will enable the Chattanooga Area Chamber of Commerce, in partnership with Chattanooga 2.0, Apprenticeship Works, and Build Within, to launch a proven IT upscaling national program to strengthen the local talent pool. Background in history, this goes to the funding. In 2015, the Enterprise Center recognized a funding gap in the technology workforce for non-credit entry-level and upskilling programs with requests for coding programs. The request resulted in the city of Chattanooga appropriating $100,000 in 2015, and in 2018, another $350,000 to the IDB for workforce development to advance the technology sector and technology skills in the Chattanooga region. The IDB has provided donations to the Enterprise Center for Covalence Coding in the past, that was $64,000, and the Urban League for a computer coding program, that was $40,000. And so those were referenced in the previous or most recent IDB financial audit from HHM, June 2023, and that was presented to the IDB board on March 25th, 24. The fiscal impact of this item, the current fund balance for technology workforce, NR 13Z00304, is $335,000. That's the current balance. If approved, this item would have a $50,000 impact on that. And then we have representatives from Chattanooga 2.0 and Build Within that will provide a presentation on this item before we submit it for vote.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Andrew Hudson. I spoke to you last meeting. I know that many of you weren't here. All right. But I will go through briefly the presentation again, and then if there are questions, I'm happy to answer those. So this is a 7-week tech accelerator that's been built based off data analyst jobs. Those are tech jobs, but they're jobs that are cross-sector applicable. A 7-week program that'll be happening in the evening, 5:30 to 8 p.m. People will walk away with 6 certifications, as well as an interview for a job, for an entry-level data analysis job, and be eligible for an apprenticeship, hired as a registered apprentice in data analysis as well. All of the monies that we're asking for, just to clarify again, goes directly to the students and the instructors. All of the curriculum, all of the training has already been purchased, has already been developed, and it is already ready and live to be used. We're using this money to get people into it. So underserved, underrepresented people, providing them with wraparound supports, as well as by offsetting the cost of childcare, et cetera. This program has been proven in other contexts. So just last week, a week before last, we had the National Apprenticeship Week, and we were able to celebrate one of our local graduates of an apprenticeship through this program. She's a front-end developer. She works at Unum. Her name is Emily, and Emily did a great job of articulating that. I'm happy to share a video with you of her testimonial of using the Build Within platform to be a registered apprentice to enter the job. So she had a high school degree. She entered in as a temp at Unum and was able to go through an apprenticeship. So what we're trying to do is create a tech accelerator that gets people like Emily ready for those apprenticeships. And in the meantime, also get them into those entry-level jobs that pay $20 to $25 an hour. All right. So across the data analysis jobs, there's 55 of them annually in our metro area here in Chattanooga, anywhere from $40,000 to $110,000 annual wages. And we are trying to get people into those entry-level jobs, which are the $40,000 to $50,000 jobs, and eligible to apprentice, be hired as an apprentice, a registered apprentice, into those $75,000 to $110,000 jobs. It's a skills-driven training. We outline these based off the skills that employers brought to us in their job descriptions. So these credentials are great. They will help accelerate someone's career, but they're also primarily based on the skills that are placed in front of us. The same way that we build apprenticeships for plumbing, for welding, for pipe fitters, based off of skills, the same approach that we've taken here for IT, and we've built those back into these certifications. So all of those certification fees, all of the trainings for those have already been paid for. That's not what this money is for. This money is for facilitating students, trainees, to go through this program. We've also built this in such a way for sustainability that it's registered as an eligible training provider with our Workforce Development Board to be eligible for federal funds if someone does qualify for it in the future. We owe a Workforce Innovation Opportunity Act. So we're thinking about not just this one time through this investment, but for the future, making sure that there's a footprint for sustainability. It's 7 weeks. It works really fast, 5:30 to 8 p.m. We intentionally chose that time period so that if people have a job, they can hopefully be able to work this job and do this training at the same time. Job-ready grads, we have seen this successful in the Maryland area already. They've done this tech accelerator. We're hoping to launch another one for cybersecurity as well later in the spring, but we started with data analysis because it is a cross-sector job. So it's a tech job, but it's a tech job where you could work for a construction company, you could work for city government, you could work for education. Almost every industry has someone working for them in a data-related job. So that's what we're trying to build IT pathways towards. There will be 3 instructors. Here's an example of someone who graduated from the DC Tech Accelerator. She was actually here 2 weeks ago and spoke on a panel with our local graduate as well. And China is a great example of someone that was able to go through this training online. In her instance, she went through for customer success, IT support, and is currently working in that role right now. So our goal is for someone to get into a job as soon as possible. And that's why we've tried to create an efficient training that gets someone into that training quickly, gets the skills that they need, and then places them into a job. So part of that means that before they finish the training, in the last week of the training, they will actually have a job interview for a job with a company called Data Annotation. And we've built a training around making sure that they're prepared for that particular interview as well. So it's not just enough to get them ready to be eligible to apply for an apprenticeship. We want to make sure that they're actually getting a job interview for one of these entry-level jobs so that they're walking into a job, working in that job while also being able to apply for that higher level apprenticeship. Particularly, we built this as an on-ramp or an accelerated training. We've had success doing this in the trades as well so far. We've done this in line working and in welding. And so we wanted to take what we've learned in the trades and bring it into the IT space. Instead of working just towards credentials, make sure we forefronted skills first, get those skills as soon as possible, and get someone working as soon as possible. So this is the budget. It's primarily focused on the training stipends in order to offset those costs of childcare, of transportation, and also to provide instructors. We don't think it's just enough to put someone into a room with asynchronous and project-driven training. We want to make sure that there's someone with them so that we have the most success possible from this training. So there will be instructors there with them. And I also want to show on the side that through the collaboration across the community, we've had devices donated, so someone will not only get to come to the program and be able to train, but they'll also, if they complete the program, walk away with the laptop so they can continue to work in their job with this tool. In the same way, if I were to train a welder, they'd walk away with welding gloves, with a hood, with a slag hammer. They should also walk away from a tech training with a laptop that's capable to do their job. Also, the meeting space has been taken care of, the software licenses and all the trainings, and that is a real underestimate of the in-kind donations that are there, but that's a rough outline of what they are. Right. So we did speak at length about this in the last meeting, so that's why I've moved a little quickly, but if there are any questions, I'm happy to address those. Yes?
You can go first.
Do you give military veterans preference?
Do we give military veterans preference? If there's a military veteran that's willing and ready to apply for this, absolutely. We would be willing to entertain their application and put them into the training if they're ready and willing to do this.
So I wanted to clarify that nothing
Yes.
had changed from the last time. So this is going towards the stipends and instructors. And this is more of a pilot, right? You've done this, but not on as large of a scale. Is that right?
Yes, so I intentionally didn't add anything new to the slides, but yes, this is a proof of concept. So our goal here is to not create a bunch of people that are looking for jobs, but make sure that we're well within the annual demand. And so we are planning on training 6 to 8 trainees, hopefully 8, based off of that, the application process. The application process will include not only basic demographic aspects in an interview, but also an Excel spreadsheet test that they'll have to take. So they'll score into this because this is a middle skills job. This is not just an entry-level tech training. Someone's going to be able to move into that. So it's a proof of concept. The goal here is to create something, learn from it, test it, and then hopefully expand it. Like I said, we're going to hopefully do a cybersecurity one further along in the spring as well. And our goal would be eventually in the future to do as many as 6 of these using the federally funded sustainable model of WIOA and some other aspects of that.
I guess that was my follow-up question. Like, do you think that somebody else will provide this kind of funding for this in the future? Should we be like the first to kind of?
Yeah, I think in the
Companies
future,
will step in if it's successful.
our goal as we create these is to braid them into economic development so that the employer themselves would begin to invest in this training. So at this moment in time, we've based it off of the interview for this one company, but as we build further, what we would hope is that part of being able to customize this training would be providing part of that stipend and scholarship for those people that are coming through.
So,
Yes.
2 questions. One, the devices, I see in-kind contribution. Will the candidates keep those, or do those stay with the project?
No, they keep those.
They keep those. And I think to follow up on her is, you want to do 6 of these. Do you foresee coming back to the IDB for additional funding, or you have other sources if this concept proves out?
No, our hope is that the proof from this will gain the funding as it has in the other types of pathways that we've built so far. So we've done pilot funding on the other pathways, for example, the welding pathway, and we've been able to gain sponsorship for other employers for this coming cohort. So we're not doing that type of pilot funding in that pathway. Sorry, get that words out. Yes, that's the goal.
And then how are you going about recruiting individuals to participate?
Yeah, so the recruiting, there are multiple ways that we're doing that, primarily looking at Hamilton County School graduates, working through college and career advisors, recent alum, as well as working with the Enterprise Center and Tech Goes Home, the alumni that have gone through their entry-level tech trainings, working with the Urban League and their program, that their CompTIA certificate, as well as building off of those entry-level trainings like the Impact program, the Google IT program that's happened. Those were all entry-level tech trainings, and so what we've done is we've also started to recruit from those. In addition to that, Bill Within has a website called explorehamiltoncounty.com that we already own that provides an aptitude test in which there are already people that have submitted inquiry about this and have gone through an aptitude and shown that they are interested in this and have aptitude for it. And so that's where a large part of our talent pool is coming from.
Mr. Hudson, are these is this program registered with the Department of Labor, either federal or state?
This program, the Tech Accelerator itself is not, but it leads to making someone eligible to apply for a USDOL registered apprenticeship in data analysis. What we found, and I mentioned this briefly last time, is that We brought the registered apprenticeship opportunity to the community. We're one of 5 cities in the country that has this, and we weren't able to find the talent pool of people with the middle skills to be able to apply for that apprenticeship. So if you want to think about from the analogy of, for example, someone going into an apprenticeship for carpentry, you want to hire someone who at least has been oriented toward the skills of carpentry. The same thing with welding. In this instance, these are middle skill jobs. And in order for someone to come in and in 7 weeks effectively go through this material, they have to have those middle skills. Also, if someone's going to be hired as an apprentice for a data analyst, they've got to have the ability to navigate their way through SQL, through Power BI, through types of data analysis that someone just off the street wouldn't be able to do. So what this does is this allows someone to learn those skills, those middle skills, really quickly in 7 weeks, get the certificates around them as well, but at the same time also get a job for an entry-level data job, that $20 to $25 job an hour, $20 to $25 an hour job, while also being eligible for a company to be willing to take the risk to hire them as an apprentice.
And what companies stand to, are envisioned as hiring these individuals if they make it through the program?
So the companies for this program particularly are called Data Annotation and Big Tech X, and they advertise about 20 positions monthly for the openings for this. As far as for the registered apprenticeship, there have been several companies that are looking at that. My colleague Walton Robinson coordinates that. He was not able to be here today. He was out sick. So I can't speak to those. I can give you a follow-up on them. I don't know if those incentives are already public or not, but they have received US DOL incentives to hire apprentices in data analysis. So the graduates of this program would be eligible to apply for those apprenticeships.
Okay, one question I had then was, why is this not an industry-driven program? Like you've mentioned, carpentry and welding, and they have programs that's driven by the contractors and driven by the workforce and whatever. And certainly companies can have their own apprenticeship program. So why isn't, if this company needs this, why are we funding it and not them under this proposal?
That's a great question. So I think at this point in time in this industry's history, there are not the presence of labor as well as the movement between labor and merit to create those training programs that we see in other spaces like the trades. And so we are actually on the cutting edge of innovating that for our community. Like I mentioned before, we're one of 5 communities across the country that have received this Apprenticeship Builds America grant that allows us to innovate these things. So what that did was that provided us all of those training materials that we talked about. So what we're asking for is for you to help us pilot the first people to get into it so that they're successful, so we can get that proof of concept with the companies to fund the next cohorts moving forward.
Madam Chairman, I had one more question and then one comment. What is, if we invest these public dollars into this program, what is to say these individuals don't take that training and go elsewhere? Are there any conditions placed on them to say, if you receive this benefit of public City of Chattanooga dollars, that you're going to reinvest your trade into the City of Chattanooga area? Not that we can keep them from moving, I'm not there saying that, but at the same time, we can make it like a loan or a scholarship with a condition. You stay here 3 years, you stay here 5 years, or you pay this back.
We do not currently have any non-compete or clawbacks such as those on this program. And one of the main reasons why is that the primary target recruits of this program are from economically disadvantaged communities that we're trying to provide access to those being both rural and urban recruits that are already quite hesitant because of things like non-competes that have been placed on other training programs in other industries.
Okay. And
Please.
one thing I did want to say is thank you to Ms. Allen for this summary. I think that's quite helpful to have this kind of thing from your staff. So thank you for doing that.
Shows you have enough money too. That's a good
Exactly.
thing.
But that was quite helpful.
And one last question. If this is approved, when is your kickoff and when do you anticipate the training to begin?
January 13th.
January 13th?
Yes. January 13th through February the 28th.
Okay. And once it's completed, when do you feel that those 8 graduates of the program would have the higher rate of employment?
The first week of March.
First week of March.
So we built the welding training in the same way that we're building this, and that they don't leave the training without having the job interview. We feel like it's not enough just to get someone to a training. We want to get them to and through a job, so we brought that interview to them in the training. So my hope is that if they elect to begin as early as the first week of March, which would be the Monday following the Friday end of the program, that they could.
I would love to see a follow-up in April or May of the success of the 8 candidates.
Sure, that'd be great. I'd love to be able to bring those to you.
I have a question.
Yes.
Excuse me. Are you able to move forward? It seems like everything is really moving forward quickly then if the January 13th start date's in place. Are you able to move forward without this donation of funds?
Are we able to move forward? We will have to, the whole purpose of asking for these funds is to make this not just a workforce development program, but an economic mobility workforce development program. So that would change the entire demographic. So if you want people that already have the access to childcare, that already have access to transportation, that already probably have the ability to pay for a boot camp to take this, then yes. But if we're going to reach the people that don't have the ability to offset childcare and transportation costs, then no. That's why I'm here. That's why I submitted stuff in September. Then eventually we got here in November, and then we're back again in December. So funding is crucial in order to get people to and through this training.
So that's sort of a qualification to be part of the training, is that you would need the funds for childcare?
No, that's only one of the wraparound supports that are needed.
But there's not like the stipends can be used for other things. Well,
Yes,
I think
they
I
can.
actually have my
we're
question
not-
answered though, thank you.
Yeah, no, they don't have to be used for just one of those things. So as a pilot, as a proof of concept, part of what we're also going to be doing is measuring what are those wraparound supports that are being used for it. So how many people are using it for childcare? How many people are using it to offset transportation? How many people are using it in order to help with food, et cetera?
Sure. I think it's a wonderful program. I'm just, is it something that you would have to well, you answered that, so you're anticipating that other companies will kind of pick up on this lead and then be able to fund it next year, next session, versus coming back here and having another donation for the program?
Yes, so we exist as an intermediary, which means that Chattanooga 2.0 is not the trainer, we're not the employer. We're innovating this concept, connecting the dots so that it becomes economically viable. So part of what we're doing is not only mitigating the risk for the applicants, the trainees, but also the risk for the companies that will see this as a viable talent pipeline for them in the future to be able to invest in the trainings moving forward.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Thanks.
Any other questions or comments?
Madam Chairwoman, I move that we approve this resolution with the understanding that we, as an IDB, have been given funding through the City of Chattanooga for a technology workforce program, and this fits in line with that. I do have having made the motion, I do have some concerns and hesitancy about doing so because I'm questioning whether this is where appropriate for taxpayer dollars to be going to an apprenticeship program that's targeting a specific company. That doesn't seem like the thing to do, as opposed to the industry-wide and without any limitations on these individuals' mobility to go take the training and go elsewhere. However, we can see how it goes, as Mr. Parker has a question about, and make the best of it. So with that, I make the motion we approve the resolution.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any other discussion on that motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes.
You recuse.
I recuse.
What about B? Are you?
B to D. It'll be 7-4 and 1 recusal, Kathy.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. Thank you, members. Good discussion on that one. Item 6B under Workforce Development, a resolution authorizing the Industrial Development Board Chair or Vice Chair to execute a project grant agreement, high growth jobs and investment program with Economic Development Project AIS Enclosure Systems Chattanooga LLC for a competitive performance-based grant per job to support electrical infrastructure growth and talent pool development, also tabled from our November 4th meeting. Yes, ma'am.
So on the recommended action for this one, staff is recommending that the IDB approve a resolution for AIS Closure Systems Resolution for a competitive-based job, it's a competitive performance-based per-job grant to support electrical infrastructure growth and talent pool development. This falls under the authorizing statute of the state that allows the IDB to create and fund initiatives using the economic development fees that are paid into the IDB from pilots. That sits in a fund on its own, and that fund historically we have used to fund our other accounts within the IDB. I will cover a little bit of that when we get to the background and history. This particular item aligns with our economic development plans, including the One Chattanooga Plan of building a regional economy on 3 priorities. 1, attract higher paying jobs with targeted economic recruiting. 2, grow household income for all Chattanoogans through workforce development and skills training. And 3, refine Chattanooga's competitive advantages and trade clusters versus rival cities. This resolution aligns with the Chamber's Chattanooga Climbs Strategic Plan, which was also funded by the City of Chattanooga and Hamilton County on 4 priorities. 1, create more higher-paying, high-quality jobs. 2, develop skills for the new economy. 3, grow stronger businesses. And 4, increase regional prosperity for all. The summary of need: approval of this resolution will enable the City of Chattanooga and Hamilton County to compete for AIS Enclosure Systems expansion in partnership with the State of Tennessee's Retention and Expansion Incentive. Background and history: due to limited and declining industrial space, the Chattanooga region is shifting from large-scale industrial recruitments to less capital-intensive projects with higher wages, higher skills, and/or the building of a talent pool. Because this new economic development strategy focuses less on land, there is a need for new incentives not tied to property taxes, which the city and county have historically utilized through payments in lieu of taxes, pilot incentives. The IDB currently focuses on local grants for innovation, renewing Chattanooga, and growing small businesses. Those are grants paid to private businesses, which is what this would be. The source of funding for these programs was created in 2015 utilizing pilot economic development fees paid into the IDB. Once these fees are paid into the IDB, the board has the authority to create programs for industry and industry workforce programs in support of economic development projects. The new high-growth jobs and incentive program is funded from the IDB pilot fees that I mentioned earlier. On the fiscal impact, the annual IDB accounting report was presented during the July 1st, 2024 board meeting. The current economic development fee fund balance for that account is $2,617,733.64. If improved, this resolution would have an impact of a maximum of $102,500 to the IDB's accounting, paid out in a 5-year job creation schedule. The return on investment for this program is measured by the jobs created, the proposed average annual wages, and capital investment that will be added to the community. AIS Enclosure Systems will add 82 new jobs at an annual average wage of $58,639 and make a capital investment of $8,300,000 in real property and personal property within the City of Chattanooga and Hamilton County. And we do have a presentation from the Chamber. And I did want to just add 1 or 2 other points. This program was created much like we created the Renewing Chattanooga programs under the IDB and the Innovation Fund under the IDB. It was not created by City of Chattanooga ordinance because the funds were not moved over to the IDB. So as a result, there's not a city resolution that created this program. This program was born out of a need for us to look at growing small business grants, which we've done here at the IDB over the past 7 or 8 years, I think a little longer than that, but my history, 7 or 8 years. We have that program, and then we have at the city and the county, the pilot program. So again, property tax, real property taxes on that one. And what we discovered was there's a gap in incentives, and this is that new incentive. And it's not funded from city funds, it's funded from an account that sits at the IDB, which is why we created it here at the IDB. And so I'll invite the chamber up, and we do have company representatives here, and they'll give a presentation, and then we'll take questions.
Thank you, Ms. Allen. My name is Adam Myers. I'm the Vice President of Economic Development at the Chattanooga Area Chamber of Commerce. It's a pleasure to see you all here this afternoon, and thank you all for taking your time this morning to hear this expansion opportunity with AIS Enclosure Systems. So just to give you an overview, although Ms. Allen did cover a lot of the expansion in her overview, AIS Enclosure Systems has been operating in Chattanooga since 1968, originally as Lectris Corporation, and Lectris Corporation was acquired by Avail Infrastructure Solutions in 2018. So AIS Enclosure Systems manufactures modular e-houses that house electrical infrastructure, relay and control panels, modular data systems, and power distribution centers that are used on construction sites and manufacturing facilities nationwide. The company currently operates a facility at 1919 West Polymer Drive near the airport, where they have over 104 employees currently. And what they are proposing from an expansion standpoint, they reached out to the Chattanooga Chamber back in September of 2023 regarding the potential opportunity for expansion, and the Chamber has since been in communication with our partners at the State Department of Community and Economic Development, as well as TVA, the City of Chattanooga, and Hamilton County in terms of how we are able to support this expansion. As Ms. Allen mentioned, the proposed expansion of their Chattanooga operations is 82 new jobs by December 31st of 2026 at an average annual wage of $58,639 annually, which gives you an estimated annual payroll at that full ramp up of just under $5 million, at $4.8 million in the community. And then from a capital investment standpoint, they would be investing $8.3 million between real and personal property in the community. Chattanooga was competing with Georgia for the project, but they also have locations nationwide where this expansion could have gone as well. So a little bit on this high growth jobs and investment program. This is a performance-based incentive program designed for the creation and retention of net new jobs to the community. It is something that we have seen other communities, not only in Tennessee, utilize types of programs like this, but also across the nation for more of these mid-size expansion projects. And it addresses that need for a tool to support high-growth industries and expansions, relocation of new opportunities that are competitive, but do not meet the pilot standards that have been in place for the city, where typically you see projects that have over 100 jobs or taking over large industrial sites, investing more than 20 million or more in capital investment. And as Chattanooga, as we tend to have less and less of those type of opportunities, you would see that we would need a different type of tool than a pilot here. The incentive payout is based on the new jobs and the wages, and the incentive is performance-based, meaning that it would not be paid out until the jobs are both created and retained. And I'll get into the payout structure here in a second. For AIS Enclosure Systems, the proposal was $2,500 per job, which is a total of $205,000 between the years of 2025 and 2030 to ensure that these jobs are also retained. Hamilton County Commission did approve 50% match of the grant on November 20th of 2024. That match would be paid out to the IDB to support the project as well. So really the IDB's total commitments from the city standpoint would be $102,500. And so this is how the payout would look. You would see here in their first phase, by December 31st of this year, since we've been working on the project, they would need to create an additional 15 new jobs. And then by the following year, December 23rd of 2025, they would need to create another 34 new jobs on top of that, and then another 33 new jobs by 2026 for a total of 82 new jobs by the end of 2026. And for each year of the grant, the payout is over 4 years of that job creation schedule. So they are not able to claim more than 25% of this total grant in any given year, and then the payout does stack in the middle. So you can see on the bottom what the maximum amount of funds are per year. So on a compliance standpoint, AIS Enclosure Systems would submit annual compliance report to show that the new jobs were created by December 31st of each proposed ramp-up year. The company would also need to meet 90% of their proposed job creation to receive any portion of that payout in any given year. And again, these incentive amounts are up to amounts. If the company goes above and beyond their job creation, which is what we hope when we're utilizing these type of programs, the payout remains the same each year. So they cannot qualify for further advanced payout ahead of that. And additionally, the company will submit 4-quarter average employment figures to ensure that the previous year's jobs are also retained. And we've set that baseline of 104 jobs, meaning again that they have to create 15 new jobs above that 104 that they already have. So this ensures that they can't dip below and continue to receive the payout for the program. So once the city and the county have confirmed compliance, the IDB, per Ms. Allen's recommendation, would provide the incentive amount by March 1st of each year. So we would come back to the IDB for actual approval of the cash grant payout too. So today is really the approval of the agreement. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions. I know this is a new tool, and I thank you all for your consideration.
Thank you, Adam. I do think we do have some questions about this, and I'll be happy to hear those from anyone.
Mr. Myers, you've indicated about pilot thresholds. What is your understanding of what pilot thresholds we have? Because to my knowledge, we don't have a policy.
So we do not have a policy, but we have had standards in place that we work with the city and the county on to really evaluate potential pilot projects. And typically you would not see a pilot where you do not see at least 100 new jobs and at least 20 million in investment to be able to qualify for potential pilot opportunities. And that makes sense too, because especially for smaller projects like this with the value of real and personal property, while the real and personal property are certainly way more than what you would see from a $20 million project or what you would see from the grant allocation here, it's not really from a competitive standpoint. In fact, we'd really be kind of over-competing if we would do pilot for these type of projects.
Has the city council been presented this program that you're talking about as far as funding this AIS enclosure grant?
We've talked with Mayor Kelly and his administration for that, and for that I would say we've worked with them hand in hand for the project, but to my knowledge I have not heard from city council on this one.
Okay, and what, from a standpoint of it as an IDB, what if we had a similar request next month or the next, what standards are we to use to measure whether this is worthy or not?
So typically the projects would need to be in target industry sectors, not only based on the Chattanooga Climb strategic plan that we did in partnership with Hamilton County and the city of Chattanooga and also government elected officials, or they would need to be within the state's target industry standpoints as well, which is determined by the state of Tennessee. And then you would want to see at least 25 new jobs over a 3-year period. And typically the average wages is what will qualify the project. The project should have at least 80% of the current Hamilton County average wage, but that would actually give them less of an award amount. So in the future, you're really basing it on average wage, and what we're trying to go for is helping companies that will help us increase our average wage and create economic mobility in the community.
Wouldn't you think though that would be helpful to, as an IDB, for us to have those I won't call them standards, what you just referred to in front of us, so we know what they are?
I would agree that that would be helpful. I know with the new pilot policies that we're drafting, and a lot of that is to codify those existing standards. We have drafts with Ms. Allen and her team right now. We are also working with Hamilton County to make sure that they are in agreement with those drafts too, and hope to be able to present something to you here very soon within what those pilot standards will be.
Okay.
Adam, can I ask a clarifying question before others? The funding for this, as I understand it, is within the IDB, correct? I mean, so the city council hasn't had to appropriate funds to finance this?
Correct. So with that, it comes from the economic development fees that are actually paid by private companies as part of their pilot agreements.
Gotcha. And those are funds that are sitting gathering, I'm sure
Correct.
some small interest, but, thank you. And I'm not meaning to put you on the spot. Do you know the target industries off the top of your head that are included in the strategic plan, and maybe specifically, which one does this fall into? Do you mind to repeat that for the record?
Thank you, Ms.
saw
Allen,
that.
for printing this off and being prepared. This would fit under advanced manufacturing. There are additional target industries within that advanced manufacturing, including automotive, machinery manufacturing, specialty food manufacturing, outdoor products. And then you also have professional and support services in the strategic plan, which include back office, creative media, engineering services, freight services, and then also future technologies like additives and 3D printing, biomedical healthcare, clean technology, industrial design and robotics, as well as smart city technologies. And under all of those target industries, you also have software development and technology too.
This may be a question for you or maybe for the company representative. I would just be curious to hear you comment about the recruitment strategy and if you believe the workforce is here. Is there additional training that needs to happen? Is the labor supply available to us?
So I will be able to add that this company did participate in Chattanooga 2.0's welding apprenticeship program. So they have been partnering with the community to be able to create more opportunities from an apprenticeship standpoint. But we do have Sean Kilmartin here, who is the managing director of the plant operations. And I'd be happy to bring him up to talk about their recruitment strategies, if that's all right.
Sure, yeah, sure. Good morning. And I can do to answer your questions, I guess. What I can tell you is that we are doing what we can to increase our rates. That's one thing that we're doing, is actively looking out and doing analysis in the market and the surrounding markets to make sure that we're paying adequately. It does tend to be, it's a fast-moving target at this point, you know. We hire pretty high-skilled employees, and we also hire unskilled employees and are willing to develop them. I'd say probably about 50% of the folks that we hire are just willing to work. And we'll teach them a trade: electrician, welder, fabricator, machine operator, heavy equipment operator. We're not, in my opinion, a typical manufacturing environment.
Yeah,
Almost construction.
that's encouraging. Thank you.
Sure.
Yes, sir.
So just to clarify for all of us, so a company that does something like this is not eligible for a pilot. It's like an either or.
Correct.
And that this is an effort because space isn't necessarily the only thing we should be looking at for incentives, that we're looking at some alternative ways of encouraging economic development through
Correct.
funds that are available but not necessarily being used at this point from this board.
That is correct.
Mr. Myers, one other question. Has the IDB given any such grant in the past, similar grant?
Yes, so similar grants like these are things like the Growing Small Business Awards that you have typically approved, as well as awards like the Future Innovation Technology Awards that I've seen programs that have been created through the IDB. I believe, Ms. Allen, you had mentioned one more program as well in your staff report. Sorry.
And I think the only other grant would be something like the Renewing Chattanooga grant, but that was basically a signage grant that went to a private owner for a grocery store in an underserved neighborhood.
Do we have one more question? Or-
Are y'all gonna give veterans preference?
That I would ask Mr. Kilmartin again, but I'm sure you do hire veterans as well.
I'm actually a veteran myself, and we actually do want to try to recruit veterans. We look for any kind of program that can do that as well. We're really looking for good people trying to do good work.
I ask this question at every business.
I appreciate it.
Mr. Chairman, if I make a comment, seeing that the IDB economic fund balance is 2.6 million, and this represents less than 5%. And if I'm correct, we've also recently increased the amount of fees from the recent pilots that are coming in. Do I remember that correctly? That we've changed the percentage rate and the filing fees and such for future. So hopefully this fund balance will continue to grow. I'll make the motion that we approve this based that this is what these funds are for, is to generate new jobs, and we've got a company that's willing. I will commend you. I really enjoyed hearing that you said you'll take somebody willing to work and train them. So I make a motion to approve this resolution.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second it and just add that it's a matching grant with the county as well, so it's not all on the IDB here to take on the full financial payout for this.
Excellent point. It's been moved and seconded. I do have one clarifying question on the advice of our attorney. Adam, will there be an agreement in place? What are we actually executing to facilitate?
This is to execute the agreement, is my understanding.
So I will be signing something to memorialize all this. Okay.
Mr. Chairman, it's a point of discussion among the board, if I may. I tell Mr. Parker this, I'm prepared to vote no, not that I don't appreciate what AIS is doing here, but I think at a time when we've gone about 2 years now without pilot policies and we're waiting on pilot policies, I have a hesitation voting to start a new program essentially for something less than 100 jobs when we don't even have policies for more than 100 jobs. So for that reason, Mr. Parker, I'm sorry, but I'm going to be voting no. And it's no reflection on AIS, sir.
That is duly noted, and perhaps we can have an update about the status of our pilot policy discussion at our next meeting or sometime soon. That is a worthy comment, certainly. The item has been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed?
No.
Unanimous?
No. I agree that the pilot policy is not established so that we can really use it to define these thresholds that we're assuming they did not meet, but we just need to get that in place first.
Do we need a roll call vote to?
Probably wouldn't hurt now at this point.
Kathy, do you mind to do a roll call for us?
Trying to get your name in order here, sorry. Mr. Hayes?
Aye.
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Parker?
Aye.
You better.
Mr. Floyd?
No.
Mr. Rogers?
No.
Ms. Shikari?
Aye.
And Ms. King?
No.
Yes,
And Mr.
ma'am.
Atkins? We have one more.
Mr. Atkins?
And Mr. Atkins?
Yes.
6-3.
No, 5-4.
5-3.
We have 5 yes and 3 no.
Okay, thank you very much. Item passes. Moving on to 7A and B, Small Business Incentive Grants. We've got 2 to consider today. First one, 7A, resolution authorizing an award of a small business incentive grant to the Athens Chattanooga Group LLC doing business as Ben & Jerry's in the amount of $7,500. And another one, 7B, we'll consider these separately, a resolution authorizing an award of a small business incentive grant to Office Furniture Works LLC in the amount of $9,818. Ms. Matson.
Good morning, Board. We have 2 applicants, as the chairman just said, for this month's Growing Small Business Incentive, which again is an incentive to award businesses who have created 5 or more jobs in Chattanooga. It also comes with a matching equipment incentive if they meet that job requirement. So with that, I'd like to introduce our first applicant, if we have a representative here from Ben & Jerry's.
Good morning. I am Amanda. I'm the regional manager of Ben & Jerry's, and I'm with the Athens Chattanooga Group, which is the franchise that owns the downtown Ben & Jerry's. We acquired the Chattanooga location in 2020. Prior, the owner's highest year there was about $700,000. We're now doing $1.2 million, and we've increased sales over 70%. We're up 20% in sales this year with over 66,000 guests coming through the door. We're committed to supporting the local economy and the workforce in Chattanooga. Here's my team. I'm Amanda. I oversee just the few stores we have in Tennessee. My general manager is a local to Chattanooga, and her name is Kenzie Creel, and she's worked her way up from a scooper to now the general manager. My shop team is made up of local adults that are full-time and then also teenagers entering the workforce in our local high schools. We have spent the last few years investing in our location. We've hence the curb appeal. We've added some new awnings outside to make the location more welcoming. We've updated all the exterior furniture and signage and updated to increase the visibility and attract more customers. The interior enhancements, we've added new display cases throughout the store, upgrades to the front line to make it more official and visually appealing shopping experience for the customer. We've also done more interior designs this year and updates that liven up the shop, enhance the overall ambience, new painting, new lighting. These upgrades do reflect our commitment to delivering a better experience for the community. We currently have 20 people on staff. We've more than doubled the employees since we purchased the location from the last owner. We also we promote from within, from service to leadership. Josiah Fisher, I think you might like this. He's a U.S. Army veteran, and he's now worked his way up to part owner. So we're really big on bringing our people up from within and promoting them and giving them an opportunity to buy within the company if that is where they're heading. Our active participants in the community initiatives, we partner with the zoo and the aquarium. We also partner with Volkswagen for Habitat Humanity. We do local days throughout the year where 20% of our profits go to Habitat for Humanity. We also do Free Cone Day once a year where we give out free ice cream all day. All the money donated that day goes to our local nonprofit. This year we partnered with Girls Inc. I want to thank you guys for letting me come here and kind of give you what we've done over the past few years. Our plan is to continue the efforts on maintaining the location, supporting the staff in their growth. We offer several incentive programs for our staff. One that I've participated in the past year is I completed a multi-course unit leader with the American Franchise Academy, which is a very pricey course, which the company did pay for me as well. So we're committed to and investing in this community. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ellis. Questions from the board on this one?
Got one. Did you bring a sample of your product?
Okay, so I thought maybe I should go by the store and pack up some ice cream to put the extra sweet on top, but you're more than welcome to come afterwards.
Great question.
That was a good one.
I like the cow. The cow is
That was fun.
Any other questions? I'll be happy to hear a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
7B. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you all. And now I'd like to introduce JJ with Office Furniture Works, our second applicant this month.
Good morning. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, distinguished IBD board, for this opportunity to come present to you about Office Furniture Works. We're sort of a unique dealership in terms of selling office furniture because we started out here in 2008 during a recession, which is always a good time to start a business. And we started out in the gas station. And now we occupy an 82,000 square foot warehouse that we own currently in Chattanooga. We moved to the Business Development Center, which was a great asset to us in terms of helping us grow our business and have space that was affordable. Plus, having the Tennessee Small Business Development Center there was also a great help to us in helping us that learning curve about how to get our business up and running and profitable. We eventually moved into our new building, and during COVID, we went through a rebranding because we started out just selling used furniture. But then we gradually started selling new furniture. But the association with the warehouse name, people thought it was just used furniture still. So we changed our branding. We hired Waterhouse PR firm. They developed a new logo for us, and we became Office Furniture Works. My background is architecture. I practiced that for about 22 years, but I bring a unique skill set with me to this dealership in that we're strategic workplace planners. So for dealerships in town, anybody can sell you a chair, a file cabinet, a desk, but who's going to ask you questions about how you're going to use it? I'm the founder and the president of the company. I graduated from University of Tennessee School of Architecture, and also I'm an interior designer. My wife Beverly is also co-founder with me and VP of Business Development. And then Mark Kleiner is my CFO. He's a Baylor graduate. Also ran a large Brazilian company called Madam Reels here at one time, and is a former banker from SunTrust and First Volunteer. All those people bring important expertise and knowledge to our business and helping us grow. Our approach is unique. I told you our why is we challenge the status quo of the workspace. We want to know what you're going to use the chair for, how you're going to use it, what's your work process, what's your paper flow. We ask questions that really push the boundaries and get people to think about their space differently. We don't have a showroom. We have 5,000 square feet of what we call an innovation lab. So what we've done is we've built unique work environments that you can look at, experience, walk in, sit in, and get an idea of how we can create multi-purpose environments, especially since post-COVID. That's been very important because we have a different group of workers now called hybrid workers, and how do we accommodate them in the workplace? And how do we keep the collaboration and the creativity going in the workplace when people are transient in and out? And then we find the appropriate solution to meet those needs. So we're not brand oriented. We don't have to sell you a particular brand of furniture. We're looking for the furniture that best supports your workflow and your work process. Community, we're very engaged in the community. I'm an Eagle Scout. I'm on the executive board for the Cherokee BSA here in Chattanooga. In fact, tomorrow night we're having our gathering of Eagles, so we'll be giving out quite a few Eagles we're very excited about. Chattanooga Chamber, we won in 2014 for 1 to 20 Small Business of the Year, and then in 2019 we won for Small Business 20 to 50. I'm the past president of the BOMA, Building Operation Managers Association here in Chattanooga. I'm also on the CMGMA Executive Board as a liaison to the associates. Our company, because we sold used furniture, we're very focused on sustainability. In fact, one of our new initiatives we're working on right now is to help clients who are looking for carbon tax credits identify furniture that we remanufacture as having a near zero carbon footprint. That impact alone, just diverting stuff away from the landfill, which we divert probably 18 to 20 tractor trailer loads of furniture away from the landfill, repurpose it, and get it back into the workspace. That plus not using more raw materials, not using energy to change more raw materials into something else, and using existing what we have and refurbing it is going to make a major impact. And something that we've been talking to the Sustainability Office in the city of Chattanooga about how we can start to have the city look at that, because we know they have an initiative for reaching a zero carbon footprint. Green spaces, we've always been a big supporter of. We received their Green Light Award. In terms of other nonprofits, Susan G. Komen, we were their logistics. Every time they had their race, our trucks and our people provided all the resources for moving all their supplies and things into place for that. Mark has been very involved in the Medal of Honor, even when it was just a closet in Northgate Mall. Now they have a beautiful center downtown by the aquarium, and he was very instrumental in helping that to come to light. And then Mark is also on the Chattanooga-Hamilton County Family Justice Center. Service we provide, I told you we're unique in that we just don't sell new, but we sell pre-owned, we sell used, we sell remanufactured. We do the strategic workplace planning. We also help with indoor air quality. We realized during COVID that was a real issue for people, and so we've got some new technology that we're able to offer our clients. One, in fact, here in Chattanooga that has 200 people in a call center, they can only get 20% of their people back. So we help them implement a new air technology system into their space that allow them to get 89% of their people back into the workplace. We're also launching a program, furniture rental and lease to own. Aaron Rents has gotten out of the commercial office furniture renting, and so has Cord in the process of getting out of it. So there won't be any place you can go rent furniture except from Office Furniture Works. We have a division called My Chair Doctor. We specialize in refurbing clients' ergonomic task chairs. We have many clients that have what we call the chair graveyard, which is a room full of chairs that for one reason or another has a broken wheel or an arm cap missing or it sinks when you sit in it. And we can fix all of that. We can even reupholster. So that's proved to be a very good business, especially for call center work that we've done. And then we also do the move relocation. So if the client's moving from point A to point B, we move furniture all the time anyway, but we use a mobile crate system that they can use to pack their items in. So it's much more efficient and less labor involved in getting them from point A to point B. Business development, we have new furniture procurement, design and rendering, indoor air quality, biophilia, it's a term some people aren't familiar with, but it's about bringing the outdoors indoors. So we also have a program where we can help bring in plants into the workspace and even artwork that's dry moss that can even be arranged and coordinated to look like your company logo. All these things just help in terms of creating a more healthy and better environment. And then where we're looking to apply these funds is we're trying to invest in our workforce. There are no trade schools geared toward furniture installers. I mean, if you want to be an electrician, a plumber, a carpenter, there are plenty of places to go for that. But there's nobody that's teaching that skill set. And what's becoming difficult for our industry is finding the resources and the people that can do that. And so we're constantly hiring people who have no experience in furniture and training them. So we want to invest in some training materials that are created once, they're videos and things of that nature that they can use and reference even on their phone if they need to, but be more effective in the learning process because we do have turnover in that area and we do have to do training every time we do that. Right now in this marketplace, you may not be aware, but there's only one installation company in the marketplace, which is kind of a monopoly for them. So everyone's sort of held to whatever price structure they want. So we've started our own installation group up. I have 4 individuals that graduated from Howard High School. They're young kids, first job, they're learning a lot, but we're real excited about their prospect. I also hired a warehouse manager that oversees them, who's a seasoned gentleman and has got a lot of experience, and he's doing a lot of mentoring with them as well. But we're looking to increase that. We did partner with the Career Center over off Glass Street. They were looking for a curriculum ad, and so we said, why don't we do a furniture installation? Why don't we do assembling cubicles? So we donated 6 cubicles that were 6 by 6. They broke the kids up into 6 different groups, and each group got to take a cube and put it up, and then take the cube and disassemble it, which was great because for us, we were thrilled because we saw some kids that just had a real aptitude for it, and we're having fun doing it and liking it. So definitely, yes, we got their names. Now, some of them are juniors. A few may be seniors, but we have our eye on a few, and actually we've hired a couple of them just to come work during fall break, and we've got 2 more coming back to work with us during winter break. So we're excited about that. We've got different marketing initiatives we want to launch. I have developed a relationship with a company in Colombia, South America, which is the largest furniture manufacturer in Colombia. And because of COVID and all the tariffs, we went away from importing anything from China. We went to our free trade partners, which was Canada and Mexico. We knew if we got it on a truck, we could get it here. However, it looks like there could be some potential significant tariffs on Mexico and Canada, but Colombia is not on that list of companies that are going to be tariffed. So we're trying to keep the cost of furniture down. We're trying to fight against inflation. So we're looking for all the resources and things we can do to do that. We're in discussion about being their U.S. distribution center, which would require me to build on my property about a 50,000 square foot warehouse to accommodate that, which eventually would create some additional job growth if we're able to bring that on board. And then just in terms of, like I said, developing programs for streamlining our staff, we're looking at technology investments because it's been difficult to find people. We've had to find ways to automate certain tasks and processes to make that process of cradle to grave delivery process for furniture more efficient. So again, thank you for this opportunity to present to you, and I appreciate all that you're doing.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Questions for this applicant?
How many total employees currently?
I have 8 administrative and 5 in the warehouse.
Mr.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion, we approve this resolution with one change, and it's a technicality, but actually, Mr. Chairman, looked your business up with the Tennessee Secretary of State, and I think we need to revise the resolution to read Office Furniture Warehouse LLC. And I can show my fellow board members, that's the active company with Office Works as an assumed name. And if you look up Office Works, Office Furniture Works LLC, that actually went out of business, according to the Tennessee Secretary of State's office, in 2020. And in 2021, they got an assumed name. So it's a technicality. I'm sorry to bother you all with the details, but I think we ought to give it to the right company, which is Warehouse.
Highly worthy comment.
Otherwise, I make the motion, we approve it.
Thank you. To amend the caption.
To amend the caption to reflect Office Furniture Warehouse LLC.
Thank you.
A second.
And there's a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Approved as amended. Thank you, everyone. Congratulations. Any other business that needs to come before this board in the way of discussion?
Chair, if I might, the Economic Development Office would like to use the January meeting for an education session. And so if the board members have any questions or programs or issues they would like for us to cover during the January meeting, if you would like to email those to me at callen@chattanooga.gov, we will make those part of our planning session. Again, send out an agenda, but the goal is to go over existing IDB accounts, how those were funded, how they were founded, the parameters around each of those individual accounts, the different programs that we have. We will also look at pilot policies, recognizing the city council would like to see those policies before they come to the IDB for review. So we're working to get on the economic development schedule with the city council to present those to the council first. But we will have a draft that we're happy to cover during that education session.
Thank you, Sharita. So my calendar shows that would be Monday, the 6th of January is our next regularly scheduled meeting at 11 o'clock. The work session then should take place at what time? 10 a.m.? Or what's your preference?
We're happy to present it as part of the 11 a.m. meeting.
Okay. So we will just meet then at 11 o'clock on January the 6th. Everyone should have that in their calendar. Thank you. And we'll be in touch.
I just want to make a comment to thank the office for answering questions, for getting us more information that I think made it easier to make decisions in this meeting today.
And I would like to thank the board members for asking all of those questions. It helped us refine sort of how we put together the packets moving forward. So thank you for your input.
And I'll note for the record, the staff reports are a very welcome addition to this process and something I think we talked about for a while. So thank you. I know those take a lot of work, but they are extremely helpful.
We should thank Helen Burnsharp for that because she made the suggestion.
Noted for the record. Any other items for discussion or comment?
Mr. Chairman, I did want to commend you for chairing a group here today, because I can say with my experience on this board, I don't know that we've ever had more than one vote in opposition to anything, and so I think we've had a healthy discussion, and it's not all bad to have a 5-3 split.
Iron sharpens iron. Thank you, sir. Any other items for discussion, comment, questions? All right. If not, I'll hear a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Is there a second? Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We stand adjourned.
Very good.